It seems the government had an intention when it came to these last sitting weeks to have their IR reforms go through. You've obviously blocked that for the time being anyway, but this has given them some time to get industry groups on board with some of the changes. Is that giving them a bit of an advantage there?
No, not at all, because the majority of industry groups are saying the legislation is still fundamentally flawed. This is a piece of legislation that you could actually just drive a truck through. So the Minister, Tony Burke, a Band-Aid here, a Band-Aid there, and they're not even Band-Aids when you actually look at what is being announced. We also have not seen what the actual sections will look like. So no, the majority of industry groups are on board. This is a bad piece of productivity sapping legislation that should not be supported. And a Band-Aid here, a Band-Aid there, Andrew, doesn't do much to improve the legislation.
All right, what do you think about the situation with these immigration detainees who've been released? The government's refusing to detail how many have ankle bracelets. We've had Sam Ibrahim welcome his release in the newspapers in Sydney this morning. What do you make of it all?
Look, my understanding is there's now 116 that have been released, not the 93 that the Australian people knew about last week. But what a complete, total and utter debacle for this government. They were concerned more about the rights of rapists, murderers, pedophiles, child sex offenders and a contract killer and getting them out onto the street than they were with the safety and security of Australians. So now you have these people out on the street, and the basic questions which the coalition is asking on behalf of the Australian people: where are they? What are they doing? But more importantly, what are you doing to monitor them? The government cannot answer basic questions. So yet again, you have a Prime Minister of this country who is failing when it comes to his fundamental responsibility to protect Australia and Australians.
They're actually using a tactic. They're actually using a tactic the coalition didn't use, aren't they? They're saying it's operational matters. Scott Morrison used to do that all the time.
Oh, please. The government were not prepared for this outcome. In June of this year, when Justice Gleeson gave a very, very clear indication that they were on shaky ground, they should have already had options prepared. The High Court bring down its decision and their response is, oh, we're really sorry. We got told we were going to win that case. Not good enough. A federal government prepares for every single contingency, unless, of course, you either don't care or you're incompetent. And I'm giving Labor a tick on both of those things. They don't care and they are incompetent.
All right, just finally, it appears the government doesn't probably need the last Senate sitting week, which is not this week, it's next week. Do you still want the Parliament to sit for that, and why?
Absolutely, because we still have a significant amount of legislation that we need to get through. And unless the government's planning on guillotining legislation in the Senate this week, we will need that Senate second sitting week. But I have to say, you only look at cancelling a week in the Parliament, and the government's already done that this year, if you don't like transparency, if you don't like accountability. Well, guess what? I want to hold this government to account, in particular in relation to the debacle on immigration. So I look forward to doing basically what the taxpayer pays me to do, to be in this place and to work. And shame on Labor for thinking that they can get away with cancelling a sitting week of the Parliament.
Okay, Cash, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Great to be with you.